I have a question for you today. I want you to take a moment and think of an answer to this. And when you hear the question, your first response is going to be, huh? What? Well, that's a silly question. But no, it really isn't. Take a moment and think. Here's the question. Are you ready? Why did you go to church on Sunday? Now, you heard me right. Why are you in church? Why did you go? You have your answer? Okay, I'll come back to this in a moment. For a variety of reasons, I was thinking about all of you this week, my parishioners, and praying for you. Many of you, obviously, I don't know. I don't know your names, but I do see your faces, and, well, there are those whose names I know but don't know their faces. There are some of you, a lot of you, really, that I do know, and I do know you by name. I'll come back to that too. Hold on to those two thoughts, that question and the fact that you are known by name. I had an interesting conversation with my sister this past week. We had the opportunity to spend the day together on Tuesday, and I was sharing with her some of the struggles that I've been enduring of late, the complaints that I get. Yes, I know. Can't imagine why anyone would complain about a priest, but yes, we do get them once in a while, the complaints that I have to sift through. And I was sharing with her some of the challenges that make life for me difficult. I'm sure we all can imagine a few challenges that we all have to deal with that do indeed make life difficult. And I asked the question, rhetorical question, $1 million question, what do I do? How do I handle all of this? Of course, my sister really has no answer for me, and really there is no answer. It's something that we just have to deal with as time goes on and as we move through life. And this is where I started thinking about all of you, my parishioners. I thought about you as if I were standing before you and praying for you, looking out at your faces. And then I imagined Jesus doing the same. And in some way, I hear him offer the prayer of this gospel which we hear today, this prayer that we hear Jesus pray to God, his Father. And he prays for his disciples, who he knows, and of course they don't. He knows they have a very difficult road ahead of them. He prays for them. Father, keep them in your name so that they may be one. I have protected them. I have guarded them. I gave them your word, and the world hated them. Keep them from the evil one. Consecrate them to the truth. I hear those words and the sense of very real, heartfelt words of prayer, bringing, I think, a sense of comfort and consolation. And isn't it true that in the midst of all the difficulties and struggles of life, we need some comfort and consolation? But then I further reflected on these words, this prayer, and I heard Jesus say something which I think we ought to pay close attention to. Because he says, as you sent me into the world, so I sent them into the world. You see, this comfort and consolation that he offers us is not something that we keep to ourselves. It's something that we have to take out into the world. And this is where I come to that question I started with. Why are you here? Why do you go to church? And for some here at the parish of St. John the 23rd, the answer might be, well, because of me, your pastor. Many people tell me how much they enjoy listening to my message each week. Well, that's nice. Thank you. For some, the answer might be, in spite of me. You might think to yourself, I'm not going to let him spoil what I've worked so hard to achieve. For some, the answer might be, well, this is my church. Where else would I go? For some, the answer might be because I always go to Mass at this time. Kind of like going to the same diner at the same time, sitting in the same booth, having the same meal. For some, the answer might be because I want to receive communion. Isn't that what Catholics do? Yes, I suppose. And I suppose that while all of these answers may be valid at some level, well, frankly, and you may be upset with me when I say this, they're basically selfish answers. Because they're all about what, well, as it were, I get coming to Mass. You see, there really is only one valid answer, and it's kind of the theme that I've been preaching these past weeks of Easter. You know what that theme is. Jesus is Lord. And we gather here with fellow disciples to receive the strength that we need to carry out the mission that he started and that we must continue to proclaim the good news to all the world. This good news of comfort and consolation, of forgiveness of our sins. That's why we're here. That's why we gather. That's what this is all about.